Hey everyone, welcome back to the Kempire Daily YouTube channel where you get daily and consistent hot topics in music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. So as you all have been asking me for months now, Kempire, we want to see you interview people. So it had to be the right first interview. As you know, we have interviewed some really amazing people, a part of Kempire Radio's history, including the very own Oprah Winfrey. So why not include one of our favorite passions, real estate, looking at real estate, and a show that we've been recapping every single Sunday here on the channel. So all of you had strong opinions about Cristyl. So it was perfect when they reached out to say, let's make this happen. Let's have a conversation. There was no 5-star lunch, which is okay, but it was a fantastic conversation. And I welcome you to have an open mind because honestly, by the end of this conversation, I like Cristyl. Guys, as always, we're going to have a fun time in the live chat. This was pre-recorded, but you probably just watched the latest episode of Ladies Who List Atlanta. Well, I asked Cristyl all about her image on the show. I asked her about her business. I asked her about her relationship with Robin. I asked her about her trying to steal business from Tiffany. We talk about all of that, but we also talk about the future of the show, Quiana quitting the show. But who exactly is this closing attorney turned reality TV star, Cristyl Kimbrough? She's doing a lot more, and we get into all of that in our conversation. Everyone in the live chat, drop your crowns, your elephants, and your location, and show some love to closing attorney turned reality TV star, Cristyl Kimbrough. We have been talking about Ladies Who List Atlanta for the last few weeks, and now we have the privilege of having one of the stars. Cristyl Kimbrough is here. Cristyl, thank you so much for doing this. Thank you so much for doing this. Even look, I know you've probably seen our review, so you know we're straight shooters. Pow, 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 pow.
Let's shoot it. Like I said, I'm not afraid of the heat.
And I love that. As you should not be. You are a closing attorney. Come on now.
Exactly. Like, let's go. Let's go. What are we talking about?
First of all, I want to talk about how this all even came about. Let's talk about your business, because your business is what we don't get a lot of on the show, and I wish we did. Can we talk a little bit about how you started Kimbrough Law?
Yeah, sure. So I started Kimbrough Law 9 years ago. And wow. I started as just a solo job because it wasn't even a business at that point. It was a job. And I had to learn how to do everything from pre-closing to post-closing. And for those of you who don't know, the role of a closing attorney is to make sure whatever you think you're getting, you're getting. So that includes the boundary lines on the property. That includes whether or not somebody didn't pay their IRS bill and they may affect and attach to the property itself. That includes whether or not you want to add your boyfriend versus your fiance versus your husband on title. We can get into that later. So that's my job. And that's what we do as the closing firm. We technically represent the lender, but we get our business from real estate brokers, real estate developers, and real estate agents.
Wow. And there was something that was said during Ladies Who List Atlanta that you and Tiffany are the only closing attorneys or Black closing attorneys in Atlanta. Is that true?
No, who said that?
That's what we heard on the show. Are there, or is it that there isn't a lot of you out there?
There are not a lot. So just as a whole, to give you some perspective, less than 1% of attorneys are Black. I don't know the percentage on Black women, but it's even less. So naturally, when you factor in all of the attorneys being less than 1%, and then you factor in the number of closing attorneys, it's even less. So yeah, of course, there are other closing attorneys, but I will say there's not a lot of other ones that dominate Atlanta and Atlanta Metro like we do.
Wow. Well, congratulations to both of you on that. So it's interesting to see this show, and I'm sure you've probably seen our recaps about the show, is that, my biggest criticism of the show is that we're not getting to see your business. We're not getting to see more real estate. And how did this show even come into your lap? Like, how did you get on this show?
Lap is correct.
Oh.
So it started about 3 years ago, and the show creator, this woman by the name of Monique Barrett, she originally approached me and Tiana. And she pitched this idea of these boss women, Black women more specifically in real estate. And honestly, I was at the point where I was just like, like you'll hear me say again and again, I've always lived like a pretty nice, fabulous life, but I prefer to do it privately.
Oh, okay.
I don't feel the need to show you the tennis bracelet that I just got last week. And I don't feel the need to show my exotic trips and vacations. And that was my perception of how reality television was. But I'm a businesswoman first. And so I knew if presented the opportunity, because I do own a small business, it would put my business on a larger platform to do what I'm doing on a larger scale. I couldn't say no. So it started actually 3 years ago, and it started with like 10 ladies. And then, OWN Network, they eventually bid on the show, and Big O herself, Miss O herself, was like, there's too many ladies. So that's when they narrowed it down. It was like America's Next Top Model. Like elimination.
That's so interesting to me that Oprah is still so very much involved in the nitty gritty of each of the shows on there. So wow. So you made the cut though.
We made the cut. We made the cut. And it's so funny because I was just kind of thinking to myself a couple of months ago, I guess this was going to be my destiny no matter what. Because before this show even aired, I had 4 other shows trying to pitch me a concept. And so I'm just like, my life is so normal. Why are all these networks so interested in filming me? So it was going to happen one way or the other, and I've just accepted it.
Were those other shows real estate driven, or was it something else?
So one of them was about a dating show, because I am single.
Okay. All right.
The other one was about exclusively lawyers. And then the other one was more of like a docu-series strictly about business. And the problem is I have a contractual obligation now to own. So I'm not in a position where I can, if it directly conflicts with the concept of this show, I can't film anything else that would be perceived as being a conflict. So here we are.
All right. Well, I mean, and it's been very successful. When people told me about this show, everyone knows I love real estate here on the channel. So when they told me about this show, it's like we created this thing. It ended up happening, falling in our lap, and we were so excited, and we're still excited. The show is doing very well.
Ratings wise, and just a little BTS. We had a heart-to-heart, and by we I mean my fellow castmates and I, with production. You film so many different beats and so many different stories, and what actually ends up on TV, we were a little blindsided by. So we had a heart-to-heart. So word on the street is that episode 6 through 8 is going to show substantially more business. Yes.
Is that an exclusive?
Doing the praise.
Cristyl, is that an exclusive that you just gave us?
That's an exclusive.
Yay! Well, this is what we've been asking for. So I'm loving that we're going to get more business because look, we love drama, but we know where we can go for drama.
Ooh, there's a lot going on.
We know where we can go for drama. We wanted to see all of you. We want a little bit of drama too. Look, real estate.
But like professional drama. It doesn't have to be personal drama. It could be professional drama. Word on the street is that we're supposed to get that episode 6 through 8. Now, episode tomorrow, I don't know what they're going to do. Me and you are going to be like this.
Well, it seems as if all of you are having a different reaction to how you are being portrayed on the show. So much so that your co-star Quiana just announced on her social media that she is not going to return for another season. Did you know that?
Yeah, me and Q are real friends. And so, we've had a couple of conversations and, I totally respect her decision. I'm a numbers girl, so I have to look at my numbers, my performance numbers for my firm to see if it makes sense for me. We're contractually obligated to a certain number of seasons, but I'm not afraid of contracts.
Wait a second. Well, as you should not, as you should not be, because you're an attorney. How many seasons?
I can't get into the specifics. Okay. I can't, but it doesn't guarantee that there'll be a certain number of seasons. Okay. It just gives them the option to keep us on the hook.
Oh, so technically, is Quiana still on the hook?
I mean, technically, yes, but you know, every good attorney has a good attorney. So even though I'm a practicing closing attorney, I have an entertainment attorney, and I know Quiana has her own entertainment attorney as well. I don't think any other women are represented by an attorney, but I always, you know, cross all my T's and dot all my I's. So, and I know she does too, and that's being a part of a good business person.
Most definitely, most definitely. Were you surprised at her decision not to return?
Absolutely not. You know, we were given more of like an 80-20 spiel, like 80% business, 20% personal, and it's been swapped. So, you know, I totally respect her decision. And if it's not helping your business, then why do it?
Do you think that, I'm sorry, do you think there was something specific? Because I know you guys get to see the episodes before they air. Do you think it was something specific that triggered her to say, no, I'm not returning?
First of all, we're not using the word triggered anymore.
Oh, I forgot. Oh, I forgot. Damn it. Oh, wow. Okay, yes.
See, it just flows off your tongue.
It does.
It comes.
I didn't even realize it. We're going to get there, though. We're going to get there. But is there something that happens coming up that you think made her say, no, I'm done with this. This can't be it?
No. But okay. I can't speak for her, but the damage is done. You've set the foundation for how you want this show to be portrayed. And I do know that OWN as a network, they're transitioning from more of, and I don't know the correct vernacular, but they're transitioning from more character-based shows, which tend to be more personal, to more business-based shows. Mm-hmm. So, you know, character-based is like Housewives. You know a lot about them personally. Business-based is like $1 Million Listing. You get mostly business, a little bit of personal. So I know that OWN as a network is transitioning, but from what I understand, they have to slowly do that with their current audience so as to not, you know, just completely shock and blindside the viewers. So, you know, it's a business decision for them, and I understand that. And if I decide not to do a season 2, it's a business decision for me.
Most definitely. Well, now that you've done it, you know, so many people are reacting to this. You may have seen, we've been recapping the show here on the channel since the beginning of, you know, since the premiere episode. And I said, I like Cristyl. I don't know what's happening. But some people were like, no, you have to watch out for Cristyl. Have you heard that?
You know what? A lot of people always say, don't read the comments. Don't read the comments. Don't read the comments. And so if I'm being honest, I'm in my own little bubble. I know that people are, you know, oh, Crystyl's a villain. You got to watch out, whatever. And honestly, that doesn't affect me because I know who I am. And the people that actually know me know who I am. So on one end, I would be lying if I said it didn't take me aback for like maybe 2 days. But now I'm back in my own bubble, living my own fabulous life. And I don't even know what the people are saying.
What sign are you? Because we talk signs here on the channel. What's your sign? Say it again.
I'm a Leo.
Of course. I love it. I love it.
I am a beast. And that is, I think that's what people don't really understand. I'm here for business. And just as a whole, I tend to think about my business first. Because if in all actuality, I don't have a husband and I don't have kids. And I also don't allow myself to be completely dependent on a man. That doesn't mean that I don't need one, but I just don't allow myself to be completely dependent on one. So I'm used to doing things for myself. So when you put me in the opportunity or you give me an opportunity to advance my business or to win, I'm going to be a business owner. I'm going to ask for a business. That's what business owners do. Now, on the personal end, the stuff with my other castmate, Robin, that took me aback. As soon as
you guys really best friends?
We were really good friends. And as soon as those cameras turned on, I didn't even recognize like who she was. It was just, and so in the very first episode, if you can remember, a lot of the times I'm like, because I'm literally confused.
Wow.
I'm literally confused. Like, who is this person? Are we acting? Is this what we're doing? If we're acting, then why didn't you give me a heads up? So I was taken aback. So that's what you're saying.
Speaking of Robin, there was that infamous, she was going to do the whole Selling Atlanta meeting with you ladies. Rumor on the street is that we didn't get to see half of what happened during that meetup. Can you tell us what really happened since it's already aired?
I can't.
Oh, I tried.
Because there may or may not be a reunion.
Oh. Do you want there to be a reunion? I call for one.
Listen, every time I film with all of the ladies, I get this massive headache. And I'm not a person that gets headaches easily. So I don't know.
Wow.
My vote is still pending on that. But literally, I get a massive headache.
That scene gave me a massive headache because it was all around. But I have to say, that particular scene changed my viewpoint on you because you did sort of trigger me in that moment. Can we just kind of go back and get your side of things in that meeting and why you kept on saying you're triggered to Robin, even though I don't agree with her hitting you?
Yeah. So that dinner was 2.5 hours long. And what they ended up airing and editing was about maybe 5 or 6 minutes. So you don't get to see my response to, what's her name? Kira, asking why I unfollowed her. You don't get to see the lead up to me witnessing Robin about to explode and me trying to temper her feelings prior to her exploding. And you don't get to see the EPs, the executive producers in the background saying, stay on set, stay on set, stay on set. Like you don't get to see, you don't have any of that context. But what you do see is me being very uncomfortable in an uncomfortable situation. And what people don't realize is that was the third time that I filmed with Robin. That was the first time we filmed as a group. Okay. And that was the third time that Robin lashed out on me on camera. Whoa. So I wasn't really bright-eyed and bushy-tailed about Robin. I already kind of had her on the back burner and was a little over her and her antics. And obviously, mental illness is a serious thing. But what's so interesting is that Robin and I had a 6-year relationship, and not once has she ever really divulged mental illness through our 6-year friendship. It was the scenario where I knew Robin had dealt with depression at one point in time in her life, and I knew that she actively suppresses the thoughts of being depressed. But never once had Robin said or rested on mental illness the way she is on this show.
Wow. So you think she's using it as an excuse on the show?
I can't speak for her. I just know, as her friend of 6 years, this is the first time that she's actually ever used the term mental illness. She's always described what she's dealt with in the past as depression. And so, it was a very difficult situation. I agree that I said that fucking word too much. Trigger. I said it too much. We're not disputing that.
Yeah.
That part, yes, I said it too much, period.
And what was that really your therapist that you met with the next day?
Yeah.
Beautiful therapist, by the way.
In fact, I have a session later with her today.
Tell her I said she's beautiful.
Yeah, gorgeous. And her home is beautiful too.
Was her home that we were in?
Yeah.
Oh my God. All right. Y'all doing well down there.
We normally have sessions in her office, but we filmed in her home because of COVID and,
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so, I apologize to everyone that the word, affected. But I did the best that I could in that scenario, to be honest with you. I had no idea it was going to blow up the way it did. And, Kira asked me the same question she asked Robin, except I chose to answer it calmly and Robin did not. And what you don't see is everything that Robin said prior to that scenario, which made Kira kind of,
okay. Can you tell us a little bit of what she might have said? Because it made no sense to us why Kira has this grudge against Robin. We thought it's just because she unfollowed her.
It as a businesswoman, for you to make those allegations and speak that into existence on national television, it was nasty. And let me just be clear, Kira was nasty too. Why the hell are you bringing up somebody's age? Age is a blessing. If you're not getting older, consider the alternative.
Yeah.
You're dead.
So there is more to that fight that we did not get to see in regards to what Robin said to Kira.
Way more.
Wow.
Way more.
And this is why these conversations are so important, Cristyl. And I appreciate you doing this. But I'm a little upset that, Kira got the little full lunch spread and we got nothing. All I have is my water here.
You a 5-star lunch.
Where's my 5-star lunch? But okay, so your friendship with Robin seems to be strained. We see that this week, by the time that we air this interview, that you guys do meet up. You do meet up at this party. Well, you run into each other at this party. Where's your friendship today? Is there a friendship?
You gotta stay tuned.
Oh.
Just as a personal, on a personal note, I don't tend to hold grudges. But if I don't receive full acknowledgement for someone's actions, it's also difficult for me to move forward with someone. So I am totally comfortable saying I should not have said that fucking word so much, but know that that came out of a place of love, even if it was wrong. And I can also guarantee that I won't say that to you again and again and again. But if I don't get that same in return for someone else's actions, it would be very difficult for me to really move on with someone. Acknowledgement is major.
Well, besides just Robin, you having an issue with, we just talked about your 5-star lunch with Kira. You're trying to get business, which we understand. And I have to say, we appreciate that aspect of the show as well, because at least it's less of the drama and it's more about, this is business professional drama. You're trying to get business from Kira, but Tiffany, who we love on the show too. We love her as a closing attorney. We love all of you guys in different ways.
Who's your favorite?
I don't have a favorite. Do I have a favorite? Tiffany's my favorite so far. You know why? Because Tiffany is, she doesn't have a lot of drama with you guys. So she's sort of just very likable. I love the fact that she's sharing her mental health journey on the show as well. And there's just something very likable about Tiffany. I would liking you on the first episode, and then by the second episode, I said, she's triggering me. But so far, I'm enjoying you in this interview. I'm enjoying you so far in this interview.
Yeah. I'm a real human. My blood is red, and I make mistakes along the way, but I also, I have different aspects of my life. My life is not so simple. It's not so, straightforward. And I come from a different walk of life than actually most of the ladies on the show. I come from a life of love. I didn't have 2 parents. I had 3. I didn't, I was never spoon fed. I've had a job literally since I was 8 in some form of fashion. So I'm naturally a hard worker. But, when you come from a place of support and love versus come from a place where you're not loved and you're not supported and you had to sort of scratch the walls, you tend to sometimes, if you haven't addressed it professionally, tend to take the standpoint that that's where other people's positions are coming from. So sometimes it's hard to receive love because you weren't raised with it.
And when you say that, are you talking about some of the women specifically?
I think I've realized because of the show, the difference in my upbringing is manifesting in certain dynamics, because my intentions and my actions are not being conveyed correctly or not being received the way I intended. So for instance, with the whole Kira thing, what that really stems from is, okay, I'm around 6 of these ladies, only a few of them would I normally be around. Only a few of them would I, in normal circumstances, go to dinner with, et cetera, et cetera. So let me see if I have something in common. Let me get to know some of these ladies that I don't know. Okay, that's one. 2, I'm a businesswoman. And if I meet a real estate agent, it's my job and it's my duty, because I employ a full staff. I mean, I got health benefits, retirement benefits, salaries, all of that for a staff of 13. Some of them are contract employees. Most of them are W-2s, which means it's my duty to ask for business. That's how we grow. And so I'm coming from these different perspectives. And sometimes it's being perceived differently. So, and to give you context, the clients are not real estate agents. Our clients are lenders. Okay. And it is not uncommon for a real estate agent to close with multiple closing attorneys. No. That's not an unusual thing. So just to kind of provide more context into it, you as a business owner should absolutely ask for business if you're presented with a certain opportunity. And while you're asking for business, you also want to interview them, because all business is not good business.
This is true. This is true.
When I first started, go ahead.
But do you understand why Tiffany might be a little upset or bothered that you're poaching? Maybe might not be the right word, but poaching someone that she does exclusive work with?
So she doesn't do exclusive work with Kira. Like, Kira has to close with other closing attorneys in certain circumstances. So every closing Kira has isn't closed with just one closing attorney, because she doesn't necessarily have the control in every transaction. I can understand why Tiffany's toes may feel stepped on, but Tiffany doesn't have like any formal partnership with any agent, just like I don't. There's no formal partnerships. So I can understand it, but not to the point that you would take it personal. And if you did take it personal, why not come talk to me about it? Because that wasn't the perspective that I took. And in fact, I explicitly say, I'm not trying to steal you from Tiffany. But your numbers, you've been in a position to be able to produce so many sales numbers that you have the opportunity to spread the love. You know, in our culture, we tend to take the standpoint of, oh, you can only support one Black woman at a time. If you support this Black woman, then naturally they're going to try and put you against this other Black woman. But for me, I don't take on that perspective. And I think Tiffany does. And you'll see this play out on the show. I mean, Tiffany has been rude to me since way before the show. And I can't ever for the life of me figure out why. And I just kind of wrote it off as, okay, well, there's something about, her, that there's something about me that makes her uncomfortable. Before airing on the show and before a scene that you'll see with me and Tiffany had never had a one-on-one sit down, ever. We had never sat down one-on-one and had a conversation.
But you've known of each other in the business, of course.
But we've known of each other for 8+ years of each other, but never had a one-on-one sit down. And so I thought that was odd, because if I'm dominating and you're dominating, girl, let's talk, like, let's celebrate, whatever. Yeah. Doesn't take that standpoint. And you don't get to see that really so far and on the show in general, because I'm the villain.
Oh, Cristyl, maybe after this interview, though, you won't be the villain, because you're making a lot of sense to me. Okay. I mean, I don't have a 5-star lunch in front of me, but that's okay. That's
There
okay.
you go. Hold it against me.
Triggered. No.
You said it.
Shout every time we say triggered, y'all. Okay, Cristyl, because you said that Kira brings, she does do big numbers amongst the real estate agents and brokers that we have on the show. Who's the best?
Well, see, you got best in different areas.
Okay, let's speak about that, and then we'll talk about the overall.
So, it's not really a best per se, right? Because you got Robin, who markets herself as a condo agent. She's a downtown agent, right? So she's not really focused on the single family homes in Smyrna. And single family just means detached. It's not a town home or a condo. Okay. And then you've got, what's her name? Quiana. I think she markets herself as a housewife, and she puts house in all caps. Her husband was in the NFL. So I think she markets herself as like the NFL closer or real estate agent. And then Kira, she, from what I understand, she closes a lot of like younger people, social media influencers, rappers, stuff like that. And that's her market. And that doesn't mean that she doesn't close with older people. And then Quiana, she's a broker. So you wouldn't even compare her to a real estate agent because her aim is completely different. She's trying to grow the agents that are under her brokerage. So if anything, you would, compare Tiana and Kira, who are the agents, and Robin and Quiana, who are the brokers.
Yes. And okay, well, let's compare them. Robin and Quiana.
Two totally different business models. Robin I think she has a handful of agents under her, but she's still a selling broker. So I think her focus is more on her own numbers.
Okay.
Quiana, her focus is more on growing her agents' numbers, but she still sells a lot. Like I think last year she did 20 million. And that was just by accident. And that's with her still focusing on her grooming her agents, nurturing her agents. So if you're interested in being an agent, learn contract law. That's my tip, my takeaway.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you've given us a lot of really great information, but I'm still focused. Tiana and Kira.
I mean, who's the best?
Yeah, come on now.
I mean, it's hard to say who's the best.
Well, no, because as a closing attorney and you're trying to bring in business, who and then you have to choose between the two of them. Which one are you going to choose for your business?
Whoever knows contract law the best, and I don't know. I don't know who knows contract law the best. So if Tiana, you need to do a Jeopardy. That's what you need to do. Whoever knows the purchase and sell agreement the best, Tiana or Kira, would be the agent that I would definitely want to close with.
Have you brought Tiana in for a 5-star lunch?
No.
Well, there we go.
I don't ask for everyone's business.
Why not?
Because sometimes the juice isn't worth the squeeze. Like if you fit a part of my business model, and I always say, as a business owner, don't be afraid to specifically identify who your ideal client / partner is. A lot of times people think if you specifically identify who your market is, then you're eliminating other potentials, but that's actually not the case. The more you nurture and fine tune your demographic of your clients, the more of a chance you have to actually recruit them. There's a whole bunch of studies and statistics behind it. And so that's why 8 years ago, yes, I would have been like, you want to close? You want to close? You want to close? Come on, let's close. But I'm not for everybody. And I like it.
Oh. But don't you and Tiana have a history? You guys went to high school together?
We did go to high school together, and this is what I thought was interesting on the show. And she was like, I know Cristyl, but she doesn't know Cristyl. So in high school, we were cordial, but we were never friends. And what I mean cordial in a nice way, like for real cordial.
Like, hey.
Yeah, we were really cordial and friendly towards each other, but never friends. And even now, I don't know who she is today. Wow. Just like I really didn't even know who she was then. And she certainly doesn't know me. But so yeah.
We need a reunion. We did a reunion. Cristyl, I so appreciate you doing this, but I have a couple of last minute questions that I want to ask you, more specifically about your business, because I randomly, as I was swiping through TikTok, I saw that you and Quiana were in this TikTok video for a micro community. And I just assumed what it was. I Googled, schmoogled it. But now that I have you here, you can explain to me what the hell that is.
Okay. So one of my top sources of business are real estate developers. So when you think of a developer, think of someone that goes and buys acres and acres of land. They subdivide it into individual plots, and then they develop single family homes and close on each home. Okay. So I work with a lot of developers and partner with them to establish those, type of developments. And South Park Cottages, which is the very first Black tiny home developer in the United States, has brought it to Atlanta. So it's a 29 unit tiny home development. Out of the 29, only 2 lots are left. The exclusive broker on the transaction is Kiana Watson's brokerage. And the developer I met years ago, he and I started closing together, and it's just been an honor to be able to watch his evolution as he watched mine.
Wow.
So I'm so proud of them. In fact, we've got some press to do next week about that development. So, for me, this is bigger than, what real estate agent and what is, like, I am focused on helping to fulfill people's dreams. And I can do that in the legal capacity as being their attorney. Like, we're not just a closing attorney, we're partners, and I'm passionate about that. So, I am laser focused, and some people understand, and the people who aren't business owners and aren't laser focused maybe can't understand that.
Is that a shot at someone specifically?
No. I don't even think I speak very directly. I will say exactly what I want to say.
Well, as we round out this conversation, again, I appreciate you being here. Next time, hopefully, there'll be a 5-star lunch in front of me. No, I'm joking. I hope people understand I'm being facetious when I say that.
No,
because that is your thing at the Kimbrough office. We have like a 5-star lunch. Okay, I love that.
It's only the beginning. Wait until you see the rest of the episodes. Let me just say before we go, the reason why Kimbrough Law delivers experiences is because, one, just as people in general, we forget to appreciate what we've done. As soon as we accomplish something, we're on to the next, and we don't sit in it. And delivering a luxury closing experience helps you to sit in it and appreciate it, because I'm going to keep reminding you. My other closing attorneys that are doing the closings are going to remind you. You're going to walk into this beautiful high-rise office, and you're going to sit at our courtside long estate table, and you're going to really enjoy yourself. And it's because I want you to realize that what you're doing, our ancestors couldn't do. And ancestors makes it sound so detached. Really, even your grandfather. I mean, redlining was recently.
Yeah.
So let's even take ancestors out of it. Your grandparents couldn't do. So I deliver experiences. We do 5-star lunches. We do midday spas. We do client appreciation experiences where we've got the whole 9 yards. We roll out the red carpet, and it's all to show you our appreciation. And that's all.
Wow. I love it. And guys, as always, we will be putting all of Crystyl's information in the description of this video. Cristyl, thank you so much for this. Any last minute thoughts? I love the fact that you let us know that the last few episodes will be more about business and professional and real estate, because that's why I'm watching the show. And that's why I was excited about the show. So I'm so excited that we're going to get more of that. And you already said that you are open to coming back, right?
I said the numbers have to make sense.
Oh, yes, you did say that.
I remember I'm a businesswoman.
The numbers have to make sense. And look, the show is doing very well. So OWN has to make sure that makes sense. Wait, before I let you go, have you been on the phone with Oprah at all?
No. Okay. And Oprah has done a whole series when she had her talk show on my uncle. And so I just want to get in front of her face and be like, do you remember the show you did about my uncle?
Who's your uncle?
So it's actually a sad story, so I don't want to bring it down, but my grandfather's brother was accused of hitting on a white woman, and he was lynched. He was, I mean, it was brutal. There's a book written by him too, about him rather, and Oprah did a special on him. So, and he's in the Civil Rights Museum in Atlanta. So if you go to my Instagram page, for the very first Black History acknowledgement, I posted about my uncle because it's a full circle moment for me. So, you know, they're portraying what they're portraying on TV, but I'm a well-rounded, cultural, proud, thoughtful person. So if you follow me every day, day to day on Instagram, you'll see that. So I'm not really worried about, you know, what's on the show. I mean, somebody has to play the role, so I'm happy to do it.
And before we let you go, what can people look forward to? I know you have, of course, your thriving law firm. What's coming up for you besides, of course, Ladies Who List Atlanta?
So I've got a very awesome forum coming up for attorneys, for practicing attorneys as well as aspiring attorneys. We're going to have the rock star of every legal field in the building. So I'm really looking forward to that. We also have another Coffee with Counsel, which is where I teach contract law to agents. And so, yeah, I'm really big on education. And so if you're an existing real estate client or partner of ours, then we offer Coffee with Counsel for free. If you're not an existing client of ours, then we offer it for money, for pay. And so I've got that coming down the pipeline, and I'm just out here living.
Well, speaking of living, I can't help this, you know, move from this moment and not talk about the love life, because I know this last week's episode you talked about getting out of a relationship of 4 years. Where are we with the relationship part of your life?
You know what? So I actually did film with some suitors. I don't know what's going to air, so I can't say much.
Are you still talking to any of those suitors?
I'm sorry.
Are you still talking to any of those suitors?
Well, we are still talking to some of the suitors.
Oh, some of the suitors. Okay. I love it.
But listen, we are not married. So that's point blank. And period.
All right. Cristyl, we wish you luck with your business and with your love life. And of course, with Ladies Who List, we appreciate you being here. And don't look, once Ladies Who List is, you know, the #1 show on OWN, don't forget about us. Because, you know, a lot of people forget about us after they've hit big.
No, absolutely not. I never really I never ever sought fame. And I still don't care to be on a television show. So I'm always going to be who I am.
Most definitely. Most definitely. One of the stars, Cristyl Kimbrough from Ladies Who List Atlanta on OWN is here. Thank you so much for doing this. And we look forward to watching the rest of the season.
Yes, you can check us out every Friday night on the OWN network at 9 p.m.